I think everybody knows what an iceberg chart is, so I won't explain that, but this is the South Park iceberg. This video is gonna be split up into 2 parts because it's a little long. So hope you guys enjoy. Sit back, relax. Let's dive in. Casa Bonita. Casa Bonita refers to the real-life restaurant in Denver, Colorado. It was seen in episode 11 of season 7. In 2020, the restaurant shut down due to the pandemic. 3 years later, Matt and Trey bought it back from the original owners and restored it. You can now go there today with an invitation. 200 and 201 death threats. Originally, when making 200 and 201, Matt and Trey planned for the Prophet Muhammad to be shown in the episode. Although a group of radical individuals sent Matt and Trey death threats due to their portrayal of the religious figures. Simpsons sent them flowers. In the episode Cartoon Wars Part 1 and 2, Matt and Trey made fun of Family Guy. In hearing about this, the Simpsons team and writers and all them, they sent them flowers saying basically we agree with you, the Family Guy sucks. Although this is kind of ironic story because in season 13 of Family Guy, they actually collabed and crossed over with the Simpsons, so I guess they made up. Tweak X Craig Yowie Artists. In the episode titled the same thing, Tweak X Craig, Matt and Trey had asked their fan base and some of their artists to not commission, I guess they didn't really pay them, but to make Yowie art of Tweak and Craig so they could use her in their episode. Yowie art is just kind of like a Japanese art style. South Park Flash Games. This entry refers to the various amounts of South Park Flash games Matt and Trey have put out over the years. Most of them are low-key kind of lost media right now, but I really do hope to play some of them in the future. But yeah, they're just various Flash games that have been made about the game. They would be official or non-official. Aliens. In many South Park episodes, there can be seen aliens, or the plot will center around aliens. They're named visitors in the show. Although this could also be talking about the aliens that kind of just appear in the background and you're supposed to spot them in some episodes. Stuck in 4th Grade blog. The Stuck in 4th Grade blog is the current blog for the South Park storyboard team. It's been going on for about 22 years now, and it's just the people who storyboard South Park's episodes, and they have a blog. I do recommend you read them, because some of the entries are pretty good and pretty funny. Spirit of Christmas. The Spirit of Christmas shorts were produced in 1995 by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. The shorts were early versions of what came to be South Park and all of its characters. When Matt and Trey made it, they showed it to all their friends, who eventually showed it to some higher-up TV company, and that's how South Park was made. It was all a video game. This entry refers to season 18's episode, The Grounded Vindaloop, where at the end of the episode, cut to a real-life version of the boys taking off a headset and talking about South Park as if it was a video game. Cartman Sucks deleted scene. Despite this being on the top of the iceberg, I literally could not find anything about this. I do not know what this is referencing. If it's referencing the Cartman Sucks episode, there's literally nothing. So, I don't know. Do your own research. They were going to kill Kyle, not Kenny. In season 5, Kenny is killed off permanently, well, until the next season. But originally, it was planned to be Kyle as they felt he was too much like Stan. Tweak Brodown MVP. Guys, I have never heard of this, so I'm going to read off the Twitter post they posted about it. In all the hashtag South Park Brodown 2020 battles, no fandom rallied for their favorite character louder than Tweaks. This is why we're making Tweak the MVP of this year's tournament. Watch more of the best Tweak. So I think it's just the fan base voting for their favorite character. At the end of 201, Kyle gives his typical "I learned something today" speech. Although when it aired on TV, Viacom censored the speech. Acid at the Oscars. At the 2000s Oscar, M&T, Matt Stone and Parker, showed up at the Oscars high on acid, dressed as Gwyneth Paltrow and J-Lo, respectively. And from this picture, you can just see it in their eyes. Kick a Ginger Day. After season 9, episode 11, titled Ginger Kids was aired, a meme was spread around on the internet about National Kick a Ginger Day. This faux holiday falls on November 28th. I have to put the disclaimer in here because YouTube sucks, but do not kick a ginger. Not on November 20th or any other day, don't kick a ginger. Unused fractured but whole lines. This is just referring to all the lines that were recorded for the fractured but whole video game, but never made it into the game. Stan and Shelly fire scene. In an early episode of South Park, Shelly can be seen beating up Stan and then pouring gasoline all over him and then lighting him on fire. Viacom or Comedy Central then got complaints about like people recreating it and decided they would cut it from the show and change it to just like him laying on the ground with like a pool of like water. Block 13. Block 13 is a foreign ripoff of South Park. Block 13 rips off everything from the animation style to the characters. You can find some clips on YouTube, but it's not really worth watching. Hashtag cancel South Park. The Dead Kids episode from season 22 addresses gun violence and ends with a hashtag cancel South Park. A sharp punchline and a clever way to preempt backlash by creating the hashtag themselves, but it's definitely a really good episode and you guys should watch it. Unofficial birthdays. This refers to all the birthdays the characters have in the show. Some of them given by fans, some of them given by the creators. Some of them contradict each other, like some of them are like, Stan is September 28th, and then another one's like, Stan is September 9th, like. Dr. Timothy Buddy. Okay, so I think this is referring to the mechanic in South Park The Fractured But Whole, where you can like have different characters as your buddy and like walk around and help fight battles for you in South Park. And I think this is referring to the way that Dr. Timothy, to get him as a buddy, you have to do like a bunch of other stuff, and it's like really hard to get Timothy as buddy, so it's like, that's what it's referring to, I think. Matt and Trey are Republicans hoax. Some people seem to think that Matt and Trey are Republicans because of things they do or say in the episodes themselves, but the truth is, like, they've never revealed what they are, or if they even believe in anything, or if they're just independent, you know. If somebody says they're Democrat or Republican or any other thing, don't believe them. They've never come out and said it. The real Cheesy Poofs. In the show, there's a very popular snack brand called Cheesy Poofs, which is kind of play on Cheetos. Back in the early days of South Park, they did a promotion where they teamed up with Cheetos, I want to say, and they made like real Cheesy Poofs just as a limited time thing. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up on the screen, but yeah. The Very First Gentleman. So I've never actually heard of this, so I looked it up, and apparently it's some kind of lost media. So I'm just gonna read this here for you guys because I know nothing about this. The plot would have involved former President Bill Clinton introducing himself as the first gentleman of the United States. It's assumed Hillary Clinton would have been shown as newly elected 45th and first female president. Not much is known about the whole plot apart from the synopsis released before the episode's airing. The episode title was renamed Oh Geez after it was rewritten. On Comedy Central, PC Principal tries one more time to make peace between the boys and the girls. Meanwhile, Gerald comes face to face with the troll hunter. It's thought that much of the plot had been rewritten due to the election night before the airing, in which Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton in the electoral vote, but lost in the popular vote. Most experts were predicting a solid Hillary Clinton win, which the show's creators, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, seemed to also believe. Mr. Garrison, who was parroting Trump, became president upon this episode. It's unknown how much of the episode was rewritten and how much of it was reanimated. The only known surviving clip before the election involves PC Principal in the front of the school introducing Bill Clinton as the first gentleman. South Park Hit and Run clone. South Park Hit and Run clone would have been, well, a clone of the game Simpsons Hit and Run. It was in development for a little while, but it never got released. And you know what? I want to see that lost media. I don't care about the first gentleman. I want to see that lost media. Unaired pilot. Just like every other show, South Park has an unaired pilot. It's basically the original version of Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, but without 4 extra minutes of footage. While this version was never aired on television, it was released on the DVD in 2003, but it's up on YouTube if you want to watch it. The Cult of Cartman. The Cult of Cartman is a compilation of 12 episodes that heavily focus on Eric Cartman and his most notable moments. The first disc includes Scott Tenorman Must Die, Awesome-O, The Death of Eric Cartman, Cartoon Wars Part 1 and 2, and Le Petit Trait. Disc 2 includes Tonsil Troubles, Ecopenis, Cartmanland, Up the Down Steroid, Super Fun Time, and Ginger Kids. With Disc 1 including Cartoon Wars Part 1 and 2, this means that if you do have the discs, you can watch Cartoon Wars Part 1 and 2. This video is starting to get a little long for my liking, so I'm gonna split it up into 2 parts. But if you guys did end up enjoying, then please click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace.